In 5, 4, 3, 2.
We ready right now.
All I know is this violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
How are you?
Hey, who wants to help me get this recorder out of here? I need some muscle over here.
You are listening to Blame Your Brother.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Blame Your Brother. This is episode 235. We are coming to you tonight from blameyourbrother.tv. We are streaming the show live on YouTube, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time every Thursday night. Come hang out with us as we do this thing live. We'd love for you to join us. Join all the blamers in the chat. And if you miss it, we're available on all the podcast platforms Friday mornings. Get it. Share it. Tell all your friends about it. I am one half of this show. I am David, a.k.a. D-Brew, voice of the people. Glenn Jackson, the 40%er, the spiritual midget. And I'm sitting next to this gentleman over here to my left. It's John.
Everybody, John here, a.k.a. Tico, a.k.a. Mr. Groupon, Mr. PTI, the Madman.
They got John Tortorella, a madman.
They do have madman.
Okay, he's a madman.
All right. That's David, John, Blame Your Brother. So I just want to get started real quick. Last week, I knew this was going to happen. Last week, we discussed the top, our Mount Rushmore of undeserving bands in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah. We were going to get lit up.
Ooh, these people were mad, boy. They were mad. There were people I didn't even know were music fans. And we'll get to all that. But I've got some of the comments pulled up. I'm going to read some of them. And I've got some on my phone here that
I think you got more hot takes than I did.
I think so. All right, let's go to the listener comments. We're just going to read them and you assess. All right, so now to recap, if this is your first time ever listening, we listed undeserving bands in Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. My list included The Doors, The Eagles, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Bon Jovi. Woo. John's list, I'm trying to remember. It was ABBA, some dude I'd never heard of. What was that dude's name?
McFatter.
Exactly.
Clyde McFatter. Jeff Beck.
And Percy Sledge.
Percy Sledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's some context as we read the comments. Trapper Haskins, our friend, says, excuse me, 100%, I could not agree more regarding the rant about Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi is just watered down pop rock with a perm. Thank you, Trapper. I think me and Trapper are on the same wavelength there. Then Chris Tortorello says, Bon Jovi has a restaurant that feeds the poor. Leave the man alone. He's in because he's a good guy. Now, John.
Oh, yeah.
These dudes are not in.
Okay. For the record, that's my sister.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is not for good
nice
guys.
guys. No, I can tell you many. All right. Brandon Hurst was very upset about the Eagles. I think he liked the Eagles.
I heard Brandon Hurst is an old friend of ours, and
yeah.
I believe him and his cousin did a little rendition of Hotel California together. And so I can see why he was...
Yes. Well, too many comments to put all of them on here. Would have been the whole screen. But he says, to say that Joe Walsh isn't rock and roll is ignorant. Okay. Plain and simple. One of These Nights is one of the most beautifully constructed songs from an instrument perspective of all time. That is a hot take right there. Horrible take. The Eagles are one of the most influential bands in American history. GTFO. Do you believe the Eagles are one of the most influential bands in the history of American music?
I mean, who did they influence?
I asked him that, and he said, I don't know. How are we to list influences?
I would
That's what he said.
I could almost say that they were probably influenced by other bands.
Right.
Like I would say that the Eagles were probably influenced by Bob Seger.
Right. Well, he's, according to him, one of the most influential bands. Okay, that's stupid. All right, also hated The Doors. The Doors, this is from Leo Altamarino, someone we don't know, but the fans, they'll find you. The Doors are a band you have to get. Okay, well, I'm out already. Morrison was different from anyone we've ever seen. That's fake. Highly intelligent, rebellious. Yeah, he was rebellious. And a poet, I'll give him that. For those who like different, The Doors pose as an outsider in the rock and roll scene. And the intensity of Morrison has the power to take a person over. If you don't get The Doors, it's what is this band with the kind of weird jazz blues kind of sound with the punk whacked out on acid making faces. However, if you get the Doors, you feel a rapport with Morrison and ride along with their existential drive. Now, I will give the guy a point. That's nice. That's some good words. He's obviously a Doors fan. To the Doors, okay. Now, this is Shady Blue on Instagram, but she's been lighting me up on Twitter on the way over here. She said there's too many bands in Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, on Twitter, she said Nirvana sucks. They shouldn't be in. Bon Jovi's better than Nirvana. That's ridiculous. So anyways, let's see. Marlon Halfpine, our friend, says, if you took it to the limit, I'm going to try to read also. If you took it to
seems like he's putting a lot of Eagles puns in there.
Yes. If you took it to the limit, kicked them out of the Hotel California, would you take it easy? Would you have a peaceful, easy feeling? Would it be a heartache tonight? How long would this feeling last? Very, very good, Halfpint. All right, a few more. ABBA. John. ABBA was the best and most important group in rock and pop music history after the Beatles. Facts. Do you have...
Who wrote that?
Some guy named Eduardo Oscar, big ABBA fan. I checked his profile. He loved them some ABBA. So, John, do you like to apologize?
No.
Okay. All right. Then Glenda said, I love the Eagles. I grew up listening to them. And then KG said, I don't know if I can listen to this blasphemy against Bon Jovi and 80s hair bands any longer. So there you go. That was just a few of the comments. And like I say, I'm getting blown up on the way here. I was like, my Twitter is like blowing up. It's people just retweeting like lyrics from the Doors, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, all kinds of nonsense. You know, I mean, it's just
I'm pretty sure Eduardo's not going to send me any tweets about Dancing Queen.
No, probably not. And then this is the last, says, guitar mumble singing, screeching, crappy lyrics, complaining angst, rage against consumerism, all very predictable, very Nirvana. Sounds like every person who turned 18 in the 90s who thought lyrical bitching was a revolution. Don't tell us who we are. And I wrote back, I said, well, that's every rock and roll person. They thought that about Elvis. They thought that about the Beatles. Yeah. They thought that about punk rock. Yeah. They thought that about hair metal. You just gave like, oh, the guitar and the mumbling singing. You know, it's like, yeah, that's rock and roll. You know, so anyway, that was just a few of the comments we had, which we love. I love the comments. Yes. I want to hear more of them.
Keep them up.
People though definitely had their hot takes, and they definitely let us know that we were dumb. And I've always said, if you're so awesome with all these takes, where's your Mount Rushmore? Why don't you share your Mount Rushmore with us and let us dissect it? None of them did that. Not one person was like, yo, here's my Mount Rushmore. You guys are morons. Because, you know, I fear that a lot of these people would have listed a bunch of rap artists. That's all I'm going to say about that. But anyway, so that was it. Thank you so much for the comments. We love them. You know, 4 years ago, I would have went out after all these people personally and would have tried to attack them on. Now I'm like, that's fine. That's your opinion. Obviously, with opinions, editorials, reviews, it is very centric to the person giving it. Like, I know what kind of movies I like. I'm not going to like rom-com movie. So why would it make sense for me to do reviews of rom-com movies? Because I'm just going to give them all thumbs down. You know, like, I don't like the Eagles. So I'm not going to give them a glowing review that I think they're one of the best bands ever. It belongs in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, do they belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I mean, I guess if you really look at, we never said kick these people out of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We said undeserving in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think there's a difference, you know.
Yeah, we're not going with pitchforks.
Yeah, we're not saying kick. I'm just saying I don't respect the Eagles. I don't respect the Doors. You know, of my list, Doors, Eagles, Bon Jovi, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers, who do I think of those four probably belongs truthfully in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Probably the Eagles. If I had to guess out of those four. I mean, I hate the Doors with passion. So I you know, but anyway, of your list, is there any band you respected? Because you didn't seem to have much respect for ABBA. Actually, someone on.
I mean, I totally respect Jeff Beck.
I said ABBA. I did not say Jeff Beck. I said
you said on my list.
Well, yeah, but I've turned it to, do you respect ABBA? Because I don't think you do.
I respect them, but I don't think that. I mean,
just say
you're talking about a Hall of Fame.
Yes.
There should be that's a head and shoulders above everybody else.
Okay.
That's what I believe that should
So ABBA's
represent.
not. Okay.
And ABBA, I don't believe is head and shoulders above everybody else.
Dopamine on Instagram says, I have a few questions about your ABBA rant. Number one, how dare you? That's to you. And then Steve thinks this, said, Dave, I'm calling your entire list into question. Every band you listed is Cooperstown, Bust, and Canton worthy. All right, well, there we go. Not much I can say about it. Where's your list at? If you're listing, throw us your list. Yeah. All right, man. Well, tonight, Mount Rushmore probably won't be as controversial, but it's going to be fun. Top high school movies. And we will get to that criteria about halfway through the show, but it's going to be, my list is all great movies, you know. So I'm looking forward to discussing some of these movies. What makes a high school movie? Can it be set in high school? Is it high school kids? Is it, you know, we'll get to all that. So anyway, what's going on with you this week? Anything you want to talk about?
I've been talking about it for the last few weeks.
All right.
I got my braces in Tuesday.
Nice.
And
should I act surprised? Like, what?
Yeah.
You have braces?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we obviously discussed this when I came in.
I'm not a fan of it, but I know long term I'm going to be glad I did it. We talked briefly on the show at different points, periods of time, that I've suffered from depression.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I cope with depression is because I mean, for the most part, somebody has depression, it's a chemical thing in their body,
right?
You know, and it's not something that can be fixed without either medication or something else. The way I coped with it is I assigned a face to my depression. I would say, if I'm sad because of this is what's wrong in my life, and this is what's making me sad, and so I would assign something to my depression, and that would kind of give me a focus and help me deal with those things. The longest running face of my depression that I assigned was the shape of my mouth, the way my teeth looked, and the way it made me feel when people would either pick on me or even just ask me questions about my mouth. And so that would always bug me, and I always, you know, convince myself that if my teeth were straight and if they were, you know, in good shape, and if my mouth looked healthy, then I wouldn't feel this way.
Okay.
And so
where are you at right now with that thought today? Where are you at with that? I mean, it's easy to have those thoughts. You're right. Like, if this happened, this would have happened. You know, like if I didn't grow up poor, I would have been popular in school.
Yeah.
You know, but you'll never know because you're not allowed to do that. You're at a spot now where you've assigned this condition to yourself, and now you're on the road. You're at the very beginning, but you're on the road of fixing it. Do you think there's going to be any truth to that statement that fixing this will help fix part of you?
I think it will. I think that one of the biggest keys to happiness is being able to be confident.
I agree, yeah. And
I have never been confident in my looks, mostly because of my mouth.
Never. I mean, think about that. Never? You've never been like, I mean, because I get what you're saying.
There's been a few pictures I've taken here and there that I thought, wow, I look pretty good in that picture.
Okay, all right. But just walking around, you never thought, I'm looking pretty good today. Like,
no, not
you've
really.
been I would think back when we used to go out, like to the club or to the wherever, bar or whatever, I generally found, I understand why people drink alcohol, because it is that great neutral. It is a confidence serum.
Yeah.
Like when I drank, I was the most attractive person in that room. Like, not just because of looks, because I'm funny and because I'm witty.
I guess in that aspect, when I was...
But I mean, looks-wise, too, I would start to go, oh, you know what? I look pretty good, because one person has told me I look good before. So, you know, like...
When I was DJing...
Yeah.
I had a...
Okay.
I almost forgot about a lot of that.
Right.
One girlfriend that I had that I met in a club, which... If you told me when I was a kid that I was going to meet a girlfriend at a club, I'd be like,
I'll take that.
No.
Well, you would be like, no. I've always thought that, like, if you could go back to your younger self and go, I can only tell you one thing about yourself, like one moment, you in or you out. And so someone goes, John, you're going to meet like a girl at a club and she's going to like think you're really good looking. Your younger self would have been like, I'm in on that one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. So you met this girl at the club.
And so, I mean, I dated her for like 3 months. And so, I mean.
It's a long 3 months.
Yeah, it was a long 3 months. But I mean, I never thought that would happen.
Right.
And I mean, it was directly responsible for that one strength that I thought I do have is my singing voice. And now that with all the stuff that's in my mouth, I hear a difference in my voice, and I'm not happy with it.
Well, I will tell you, as a man who just had braces for 2.5 years, yes, at first, it's more of like it does affect your speech pattern just a little bit. Now, I don't really hear it right now. I can hear you a little bit hesitant to speak at points, but so you got to let that go. It will fade away. But your mouth is. But yes, I understand the fear. If that's like same thing. I can't sing, but I love to talk. On the microphone, I love to do that. So I was wondering, like, oh crap! Like for a while, I had a lisp at one point. Like one tightening, I was like, oh no! Like, is this gonna be like forever? And then, but it goes away. Yeah. I'm here to rest your fears as someone who's gone through it. I mean, that's the difference. Like I've gone through it. Now you're going through it. So you at least have someone to be like, yo, what's But I think, to come back around to your point, I think there is the confidence you speak of. Yes, it's really something that cannot be measured. Like now, people that know me probably think, oh, this guy. If confident might be a word people use to describe me. I mean, I would say, but that was always just fake confidence. Oh, I was confident in my mental capacity, and I just assumed mental capacity would overdo any physical capacity. But still, I mean, as we've talked about, it was something I always worried about all the time. Like you, I was like, I mean, there were moments where I was like, I look good. I'm looking in the mirror, whatever. But it will change the way you interact with people in ways you didn't know. And it's crazy because you're no longer worrying about, oh man, these people are totally checking out my teeth right now. Like now it's more like, oh, well now I'm here just to like get in this conversation with strangers. I mean, with people, it's going to be, I mean, if you've known someone for 20, like if you know me, like I'm either in or out. Like, like I'm not sitting going, man, that dude, I can't be friends with him until he gets braces. Like your friends just accept you. And actually they don't, a lot of times they're looking past those deficiencies you have in yourself. It's crazy. Like I say, a lot of the stuff we carry with us is stuff inside that people don't, they may notice it, but they're not noticing it as your defining characteristic.
Yeah.
Like they're going to know, like, I mean, most people didn't know you. Oh, the dude's funny. He's got these funny one-liners. I've never, So yeah, it's going to be a journey. Like I say, the goal is to get to the end and then, and we still have many years left. Knock on wood. Hopefully we have many years left in our life, and it's an opportunity, especially with us having young kids, is that I used to think graduation day, I got to take a picture with my kid. I want to be smiling because I'll be happy. But if I don't get this fixed, that's not happening.
Yeah.
I always thought about that. That was kind of like I picked a goal long-term down the road, and that's the goal I was kind of striving for. So that's, like I say, it's not easy. It is weird. I mean, it'd be silly to not acknowledge, is it weird having braces at 40? Yes. But then again, I mean, people might describe both of us as a little bit weird as well. So, I mean, it's not
the bill.
It's not
if the shoe fits.
I thought that too. I was like, oh, people think I'm kind of a weirdo anyway, And the first time you get in a group of people and you make them laugh, and it'll take your mind off of it. Like, you'll be like, oh, okay, And like I say, most people that know you are rooting for you anyway, so they're happy to see it. So they're like, hell yeah, dude, get it done. Yeah. If people that don't, screw them. You don't even want those people around you anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, well, I'm proud of you for starting it, man, because it's many adults out there want to do it and they just can't. And
I could definitely see why they can't.
Yeah, I mean, I told you the first day was rough. I just want to crawl. I just want to take off work from like 2 years. And I was like, do I have the time? No, I don't. I'd be a little bit short, but anyway, that's awesome. So any more thoughts? Like, you got them, you're here, You're jumping over obstacles.
I mean, I just like I told you before the show started. I just wish I had a time machine. I could kind of skip ahead,
But didn't you learn from that Adam Sandler movie that was bad? He missed all of his kids' important parts of their life. Would you skip 2 years right now if you could?
no, the kid. I mean, no, not
Okay. So
no. My kids are way too cute.
see,
right now.
that's what I'm
and
saying. So you
I
just
don't want to. I don't want to do anything that'll get them closer to being teenagers.
Well, I mean, the really thing is the kids are never even gonna. Your daughter for sure is never even gonna remember you had braces.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And truthfully, people around you, once you get them off, are gonna forget anyway for the most part. I mean,
Yeah.
well, you used to have braces. Yeah. I mean, I worked with a woman that had them in her 30s, and I used to think, did she have braces? Well, yeah, she did have braces, but she was a friend of mine, so I didn't really see her like that.
Yeah.
So, well, that's awesome. I think it's really good news. I think everyone that listens is going to think it's good news, and just hang in there, and you're going to get through it. I guarantee you. So there you go. All right. Well, anything happened to me this week? My car has the check engine light on,
Oh, bye.
and it's been on for a while. But the car drives good. It's a 2007 Toyota Corolla. It's an older car. And my tags are coming up at the end of June. So I knew I could not get past, the emissions test without the check engine light, which that's really weird to me. I think that's unfair for a number of reasons. But whatever. The rules are here. We got to follow them. So I took it into this place, and they're like, needs a new transmission. And then my father-in-law's like, well, take it to this other place. I know these people. I took it to them. Needs a new transmission. So it's going to cost like over $3,000 to get it. So I just thought, well, it's time to start thinking about a new car. I'm going to drive that bad boy until the day the tags fall off, and then I'll go. But we've talked about cars. I mean, this is a really good car I've got. It's reliable, but I'm ready. I mean, I'm ready for a new car. I'm not ready for the payments necessarily, but I am ready for a new car. My car is 2007 stock. So there's no Bluetooth. There's no backup things. There's nothing in it. I'm surprised I have power windows. I do have those, but that's about it. So that's always a comforting thought that, you can get a new car and get a car note, or you can put $3,000 into a 2007 Toyota. I'm like, well, I'm not doing that. It seems silly. I mean, am I wrong about this, or?
I feel you.
I just think that's a lot of.
The AC went out on actually a couple of our cars, and got a flat tire in one of those cars, and Robin, my wife, was just like, well, let's get the AC fixed. And it's not like the easy fix. It's the...
So how much is that? Because my AC's out too.
It was, well, for the whole bill, it was like $1,800.
Okay.
I'm like...
Yeah. You need it.
I mean,
I don't need... I honestly... I could drive around without air if it was going to cost me that much money.
yeah.
But
I mean,
like...
we got kids. So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And
So-
so she was like, let's get it fixed. I'm like, all right. But I mean, I hate to say it, but Corona's been good to us. So
I do too. I hate to say that too. And mine is, just fiscally, job-wise, really personally wise. I mean, I got my braces off during Corona. I got my college degree during, all these things. I got the money. It's been really good. It's just a shame that there's all the deaths associated with it.
yeah.
But I hear you, man. It's a weird time right now, and it's really weird that when Donald Trump was president, we could come in with no stories, right? There could be zero news stories. That dude would always be in the news. You could talk about it for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Now that he's out of office, it's like, there's not much really going on funny to talk about. It's like,
good for America, bad for comedians.
yeah, it's like Biden's trying to help people with money. And it's like, oh, now I do want to touch on something real quick. We talked about Rush Limbaugh, right? And he died, obviously. Mm-hmm. And his spot's open. Do you know? I don't know if you know this or not. I don't know how much of the news you read. I only found it. A fellow person we follow on social media was tweeting about it. Do you know who's taking his place here in Nashville? Here in Nashville. I mean,
Was it Clay Travis?
Clay Travis.
Oh, wow. That's just a guess.
That was a good guess. He will be one half of the new Rush Limbaugh show. I just think that's bizarre.
It is.
A guy that made his bread and butter discussing sports in a very smart way. I was a Clay Travis fan. I mean, I had all of his books. I bought his merchandise. And then somewhere along the way, he just went into this descent into madness.
I mean, there's he's not the only one. I mean, on the flip side, on the other end of the political spectrum, I mean, Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah. Well, here's my thing about that. I understand now, as I'm starting to kind of go the Jimmy Kimmel route, I understand people that were conservative and kind of crude and kind of self-centered about the way they saw the world. I understand when they get older and have kids, and I think having a daughter really does affect people more than anyone wants to say. But because my brother-in-law came over the other day and he was saying, man, the stuff you're saying today, there's no way you would have said that like just a few years ago. When he's like, when Lee left, there was always a right. John was usually on the right. Lee was definitely on the left. And I was kind of like quasi more on the right, but certain things on the left. Now it's just like Corey goes, there's really no one on the right anymore. And I think as you get older and you have kids and you see the world differently, I understand how people kind of drift into more being progressive. I don't understand how people go the other way, where they're like, hey, this is Clay Travis, but I voted for Barack Obama 2 times, and now it's like, dude, you're diehard Trump. Like, I don't understand that. Yeah. Like, I think with age comes intelligence and wisdom and self-enlightenment. And to me, those things just do not reflect the way we live as a society. That's how I see it. I just don't think, I know, and it may be the only way it can be. It just doesn't feel right. It's like, I can't even think of an analogy. It's just like, getting your car fixed. It's like, yeah, well, I understand it's $3,000 to fix it, but is that really, or braces, $5,000 for braces, is that really realistic to ask poor to middle class people that you're going to have to spend this amount of money to A, improve your confidence, B, get to work every day to make more money? It's just the whole capitalism, and I understand it's probably the best system there is. I'm not one of those. I'm not saying we go full socialism. I understand it probably wouldn't work, but the capitalism
if everyone were super honest,
yes,
then communism would be the way to go.
Right, but they're not.
But
everyone's greedy.
Everyone's greedy and everyone's lazy.
Yeah. So I don't know. So the Jimmy Kimmel I kind of get. Even Beastie Boys, they kind of morphed over time into very progressive, a very progressive band. But Clay Travis, it's the money.
The reason why I don't get Jimmy Kimmel is because now that's almost part of his shtick.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I don't get is you weren't like Lewis Black or Bill Maher, who that's what
right, yeah.
Their shtick was political humor.
Well, yeah, but I think once you get a late night show, that's kind of comes with the territory. Even Jay Leno was, even if they're not funny, he was making political jokes. Like, that's the whole monologue. It's most of it's like politics,
Conan O'Brien still hasn't gone that route.
Yeah, that's true. He's an OG though. He's like one of the Mount Rushmore of talk show hosts.
He'd definitely be on mine.
Well, he'd be on mine, but he could be on both of ours. But yeah, I don't know with Kimmel. I wonder about him and Adam Carolla's friendship is kind of weird now because Adam Carolla's definitely leans toward the right, and I used to listen to him all the time, and I just got sick of the same rhetoric over and over and over, and I'm like, all right, dude, I get it. So, I don't know. That's going to be an interesting. He's leaving Outkick. He sold that to Fox, and he's leaving that. He's not going to be doing that as a radio show. I don't know if he's still involved with that. That's his thing. Outkick the Coverage is his company, and he's still going to be involved in it, but he is going to be literally filling the shoes of Rush Limbaugh. Insane. No one had that on the bingo card a couple of years ago. Yeah. All right, one notable death this week that kind of stood out to me. If you have kids, you're very familiar with the Very Hungry Caterpillar franchise. Yeah. Eric, I believe his name, let me see. Eric Carle, I believe is how you pronounce it. He was responsible for the Very Hungry Caterpillar, The Lonely Firefly, the series of books that I have in my house that I've read to my kids millions of times. These very cute kids' books that are just kind of, fun to read to your kids. The Firefly one lights up at the end, talks about being lonely. It's kind of very kid centric. He passed away at 91 today. So just want to say rest in peace to him. Ultimately, when we talk about these deaths, we look at people whose legacy will live on forever. And we talked about like a New Jack, a wrestler. I mean, his legacy will live on for a long time. An author, beloved author of kids' books or like young adult will live on forever.
Oh, yeah.
And so 91, I would not be complaining if I go at 91.
Yeah.
I mean, you say that until you're 91. You're like, no, give me 5 more years. But anyways, he passed away. And also, I always preface it with this. The real Milli Vanilli, the actual Milli Vanilli singer.
The ones that were singing or...
Yes, the ones that actually sang, one of them died today. So, but once again, if I'm saying the real Milli Vanilli and we don't know their names, it's something like Eric. It's something very common, like Eric Johnson or something like that. So, rest in peace. Blame it on the rain. So that's that right there. Okay. Have you watched? Before we jump into the Mount Rushmore, have you watched anything good lately? Anything? Give me. I need something.
I'm
man.
still catching up on This Is Us. I'm on the 5th season.
Okay. I'm okay. That's good. Catch up with that because I'm all the way caught up. I'm rewatching The Office. Now I thought, obviously, very funny show. I mean, one of the funniest shows of all time, if you ask me. And I find it weird that I thought and most people probably watch The Office, but I thought Dwight Schrute's like one of his big characteristics was loyalty toward Michael Scott. I thought that was like established very early on that he was very loyal. He's turned on him like 3 or 4 times throughout this series. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like trying to cost him his career. Very odd. I forgot about that. But anyways, it's a good show to rewatch. I need some fresh content. Now, did you watch Jupiter's Legacy on Netflix?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Oh, we talked about it on the show?
I don't know if we talked about it.
No, I think we ran out of time. So this is a Netflix series by Mark Millar, I believe how you say his name, responsible for Kick-Ass, very edgy comic book writer, has produced this show, which is a superhero-themed show about these older superheroes that get their powers, and now it's kind of focused on their struggles, being the aging heroes, and then their kids kind of make their own way in this world. What do you suggest people go watch this? Yes or no?
I do, but don't use it as a. It's not Marvel. It's not DC. So don't go into it thinking it's going to be like that. It's not a comic book show. It's a movie about relationships and people trying to deal with their lives that happen to have superpowers. Right,
which is always kind of an interesting look at it. I mean, I think it's worth checking out. Like I said, if you're thinking it's going to be Endgame, Avengers, that's silly. I think it's as good as any of the DC content that's been out there for sure. I mean, what would you, I mean, what is there? There's not a whole lot. I mean, truthfully, like I've said, Man of Steel, I like it. It's not that great. I'm talking the DCU, I'm not talking Dark Knight. I'm talking Zack Snyder franchises.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, first one was good. Man of Steel, I liked. I mean, where do you go from there?
Yeah,
I mean, Justice League, the 4-hour cut. I mean, good.
If you like bro movies, Aquaman was good, but I mean,
forgettable.
That's a big if.
I can't even really tell you really what happened in that movie for the most part. I mean, I know it was almost like Thor. All right, you're Atlantean, and you were trying to find out if you're the king. Anyway, whatever. Jupiter's Legacy, definitely worth checking out. I'm trying to think if there's anything else big that's come out on Netflix lately, but I'm watching the HBO series Mayor of Easttown, starring, I think that's what it's called, starring Kate Winslet. She's a detective. Fantastic. Have you watched this?
I have not.
Oh, you got to jump on that. You will like this series. It's really good. Kate Winslet is a tour de force. She is one of my favorite actors, actresses, whatever you want to call them. She's one of my favorites.
She's up there. She
can go.
To me, she stole the show in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
For sure. That's one of my Mount Rushmore movie crushes.
It's
yes.
Just a great job in that.
I love Kate Winslet. Yeah. And Kate Winslet's like really attractive. And in this series, like they try to make her not so attractive. And I'm still like, bro, She's still attractive, man. All the dudes are trying to hook up with her, so I guess it kind of makes sense. But yeah, so if you're looking for something to watch, that is it. All right, well, let's jump into the Mount Rushmore of high school movies. All right, so what was your criteria before we get started, John?
I think for my list, because there's movies that I would that would be like up there, greatest movies of all time, period.
Okay.
That take place during high school age.
Yeah.
But I can't qualify it as a high school movie.
Oh, I need an example because it may be on my list. Just give me one example off the top of your head.
The big one that I'm thinking of?
Yeah, sure.
Back to the Future.
Okay, I did not. Yes. Okay, fair enough.
I don't consider that a high school movie.
Right. Because I think not enough of the story. I mean, key parts of it are in high school, but the main theme is not a high school experience.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
And it's not even his high school experience. He's the main character.
Right. I mean, he is in his high school at the beginning of the movie for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But yes, I think the journey of the characters have to be seen through the lens of high school.
Yeah. The high school is either the main setting or almost its own character.
Okay. That's good. So, all right. Well, so we're going to get to it. So each of us is going to list 4. Once one is listed, it cannot be listed anymore. So who goes first?
Unfortunately, you do.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm just going to get this one out of the way. I'm sure it's on your list, but to me, it is the quintessential on the Mount Rushmore. You got to go. You've had characters on this list. You had Spicoli on the list. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's got to be. It's the tip. It is the high school movie. It is set. A lot of it's set in high school, and the parts that aren't set in high school are all about the high school social clique.
It's the mall.
Right, the mall.
Yeah.
About I'm trying to date this person. I'm doing this. I'm this guy here, and it's got so many classics. I mean, Spicoli alone. If that was the whole movie, it would have made the list. But then you've got the
Your
ultimate
first job.
Phoebe
Talks
Cates.
about that Phoebe Cates
That scene. That's every guy's fantasy. How she didn't make our list on movie crushes, I don't understand. Because she was...
Her character was...
Oh, man. Dude, sometimes they're so hot, though. Like, they can be kind of like... She was... When you look back at that time period, that girl was just perfect. So, yeah, I mean, it's just got so many great characters in it, some great actors you see later on. And I mean, Sean Penn's in the freaking movie. I mean, give me a break here. So, I don't know how you discuss high school movies without talking Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's got all the qualifications, all the requirements. So that's my number 1, Fast Times.
That's a good pick. It would have been my number 1
all right.
first.
Well, let's see what your number 1 will be now.
My number 1 now is The Breakfast Club.
I knew it. I was already writing it down. Tell us about The Breakfast Club,
The Breakfast
John.
Club is you got it handles your cliques. You got your freak, you got your nerd, you got your jock, you got your prissy girl, and you got your outlaw reject. And
bad boy.
Your bad boy. And they all are stuck in detention, and they're not allowed out until they write an essay.
Right.
And so the only part of this movie I don't like is at the end of the movie, they still make the nerd do all the work.
I mean, John, it's true life.
It is true
I mean,
life.
the freak and the bad boy are not writing that paper. The jock, you probably don't want writing it. And the main chick,
yeah, the
definitely,
prissy,
she ain't gonna write it. So, I mean, unfortunately, some of these...
I know, but you go to movies to escape, and...
Well, I mean, Fast Times is a pretty realistic movie.
It
I mean,
is.
there's even like an abortion scene in it.
There
So,
is.
and with that one, I think the reason those two stand out, that would have been my number 2, is because they were a lot of realism to that. People were in school going, "Whoa, that's my guy right there." Like, I mean, who did we identify with? Probably Michael Anthony Hall. I mean, like, I don't think we were quite nerdy like that, but like, and I wasn't, taking uppers to get A's in classes or whatever, but still it's good. So anyway, I mean, it's set in a high school for sure.
Like, definitely.
I mean,
entire movie.
Entire movie,
basically.
yes. Who's your favorite character then?
Probably the freak.
Now, who's the freak?
Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome. What happened to her, man?
I mean, and the thing is, they've taken other characters to mimic her. The biggest, most recent callback to her character was Zendaya in Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, that's true.
When she's sitting in detention, and the detention teacher's like, "Why are you here?"
Now,
Because she's not even supposed to be in detention. Neither was.
is there a world where Zendaya is a freak? I mean, honestly, is there a world where that dude? The thing that Jennifer Jason Leigh worked is because she is an attractive girl, but somehow they made her not so attractive, and especially next to Molly Ringwald at the time, who was like, the it princess.
Girl. Yeah.
I think any freak has to be. There's not too many
Well, the
good
thing
looking
is
freaks. I'm just saying, man.
She went above and beyond when it came to being weird.
Zendaya?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean,
Well, no, she's perfect. I'm saying Zendaya is terrible.
that's what I'm saying. Is
They
Zendaya?
They need a weirder person.
Slump your shoulders and don't wear makeup and squint your eyes a little
And you're
bit.
still super hot. So it's
Yeah.
like, all right. Like, I mean, Zendaya, like, it is fun to watch up and coming star. She's going to be a major star. Like,
Yeah.
she's great as an actress. And like, if I was whatever age, 18, 19, 20, I would be in love with this girl.
Yeah.
I'd be, oh my God, So, okay. That was a good, Breakfast Club, obviously. All-timer. That's as good as. So now we're getting into our number 2. All right. I'm just going to go with this one here. Be a lot cooler if you did, man. Dazed and Confused, man.
Come on.
That's my number 2. I think that's another
We're
one.
going hit for hit.
Yeah, we are. Dazed and Confused, obviously, it came around when we were in high school. So that checks all the marks. But the characters in this are fantastic. I mean, if you can't find a character in that movie to kind of relate with, and those losers in the car, that's us. 100%.
Yep.
There's no guarantee about it. I wish I was Matthew. I guess. I don't know. Matthew McConaughey's a little close to Uncle Rico. But still, I mean, there are other people in that movie.
I would dare say that there would be no Uncle Rico if there wasn't.
Probably not, right?
Yeah.
But Jason London is the coolest dude in the world in this movie. But, God, who's the guy in the car? It's, what's his name? Goldberg? Is that his name?
Yeah, I think so.
He's fantastic. That whole scene's great. Corey and me talk about this movie. My brother-in-law talk about this movie quite a bit. And I guess Beck's sister is the girl in the car with him. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I was like, that's a crazy
Wow.
tidbit of information. But anyways, this movie follows basically the last day of school. And it's a hero's journey of a guy who's a jock who doesn't want to give up the rock and roll lifestyle. He doesn't want to be young. So he has to sign this paper saying he won't do drugs anymore. He's like, I'm not doing it on principle alone. They're like, dude, just sign it. We're going to do it anyway. He goes, no, I can't do it. So you follow him. Is he going to do it? And there's hijinks along the way. They meet people. They go to a party. There's fights. It's fantastic. I mean, if you ever thought you could fight someone and then everyone would break it up, watch this movie and see if that's still going to be your strategy next time you're at an event and you decide to scrap with someone. It may not end like you want it to. So, also, Ben Affleck is a total douchebag in this movie.
Not a stretch.
Perfect casting. This and Mallrats, he was batting 1,000. So, Dazed and Confused, my number 2. All right, John, you are now up.
That one, for the record, was my number 3.
Okay.
So we were going hit for hit. My number 2 is almost breaking my rule that I said earlier, but it is mostly in high school. But
This is in the 80s?
no,
Okay.
it does not feel like the movie is about high school so much. It is about this main
I think I know what
character.
this- okay.
But it's just a really awesome, great movie. And this movie is Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Oh, wow. Heavy movie.
Very heavy.
I mean, the ending is insane.
Yes.
I mean, I watched this movie. I went, okay, it's a cute high school movie. And then the end, I was like, oh my God. Wow. It's insane. Like, I don't
That's
even,
a curveball right there.
if you've never seen it, go watch this movie. I've never seen that twist in a movie the way they did it ever.
Yeah.
Ever. But anyways, go ahead. What's Perks of Being a Wallflower
The
about?
Perks of Being a Wallflower is, I mean, right off the bat in the movie, you're taken in. You're like, you can tell this is going to be an interesting movie.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The first thing you hear about is this kid and his best friend commit suicide. And
Yeah,
he doesn't know why. And it's going to throw you for a loop. And also, the kid suffers from blackouts.
which is a bad sign for later on in the movie.
Yeah. And so
That's not good.
yeah. The main character, same birthday as me, so
Oh, really?
kind of
There you go.
identified.
There you go. Now, who's in this?
Logan Lerman is the main character.
Okay, who's the girl? She's someone.
The main girl is Hermione from
oh, okay.
Harry Potter
That's
fame.
right. Yeah, that's right.
Emma.
Yeah.
Forgot her last name all of a sudden. Anyway.
They know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and then the guy that kind of befriends him is also now in the Harry Potter universe in the newer movies, but he also plays the Flash.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Flash in JLA. Ezra
Yeah.
Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller.
Okay. Wow.
He plays nobody.
Okay.
But the movie, it's high school. There's music. There's levels of that social climb. A lot of actors that are in the movie, when they found out the movie was being made, they're like, "I'll do anything. I will push a broom in the background. Get me in this movie." Some of those people include Joan Cusack.
Okay.
Plays a therapist. His teacher that keeps bringing him books is played by Ant-Man, Paul Rudd.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, wow. It's been a while since I've seen this
And,
movie, but yeah, that's crazy.
The parents, the father, I can't remember his name now. I'm blanking on all these actors.
I know. What's going on with you, man?
But
Villainous.
I know, especially for me. But just a lot of the music is awesome in it. And then it's a great movie, but it is heavy.
Don't watch it with your kids. None
it's
of
not
these movies so far are kid appropriate, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah.
I mean, the best one is Breakfast Club, bro. I mean, and there's still
there's some.
Yeah, there's a
movie.
You know what I'm saying? Like
one of the characters we mentioned that might be us is he gets in trouble because he brings a gun to school.
I mean, these
with the intention of killing himself.
That is weird that these movies are generally like R-rated or like pushing boundaries of like, I don't know. Do we need to examine what kids are going through high school? I wasn't going through any of this stuff in high school.
No.
I mean, but I guess people were. So, anything else about Perks?
It's just, it's heavy. So if you like heavy movies, I would put it. We mentioned briefly Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It's kind of in that kind of vein, I would say, as far as heaviness goes.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, probably. All right. Well, so that's that.
I think if you like one of those movies, you'd like the other one.
I'm going to go with the fun movie. This movie, I remember seeing at the theater, and I said, this is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. And I would think, we always talk about our old friend Kenny. And if me and Kenny were just a little bit more crazier, I think Superbad would have been our story. Superbad is one of the great high school journeys. So basically, these two best friends at high school are trying to find a way to get to the cool party, which seems to be a lot of the common story in all these high school movies. You're a loser if you can get to this party, even in Spider-Man. If you can get to the party, you're accepted.
Yeah.
And how do you get to the party? Well, you got to bring beer or something really cool. And so their goal is to find alcohol to bring to the party. If you've never seen Superbad, you got to go see Superbad. I mean, there's so many funny scenes, and you can't even forget about McLovin, one of the greatest characters of all time, with the fake Hawaii ID. If you've seen pictures, memes, GIFs on the internet, it's all over the place. But it stars Michael Cera and Jonah Hill, which is crazy, but a great duo. It's got McLovin, who is Christopher Mintz-Plasse, who, I mean, after this, actually went on to did like quite a few things because of this movie.
Kick-Ass, The Neighbors.
Yeah, he's in stuff. I mean, and then it also has some great comedians throughout it, and it's just a very funny. It's coming of age. It's two friends in a lot of these movies. They're friends. Then something happens. There's a female movie just like this, bro.
When Bill Hader and Seth Rogen are playing cops.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a movie you got to see
for sure. God, what was that? There's a female Booksmart. And to me, I watched it, I went, this is super bad for women. People are like, no, it's not. I'm like, yes, it is. It's Jonah Hill's sister in the movie, number one. So are you joking right now? It's his sister playing one of the main people. And they're best friends. They have a falling out, blah, blah, blah. It's pretty much super
The
bad.
cops are involved.
Yes. So there you go. But super bad. Highly recommend. Great high school movie. Do not let your kids watch it. John, what's your number 3?
Let's see here. So I'm thinking about moving my list around a little bit.
Well, now's the time.
Yeah. There's some I'd really like to be on the list, but there's some that I think deserve to be on the list.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to, what weighs more, deserving or just me wanting them to be on the list?
At the end of the day, probably you want it to be on the list. It's more important than deserving if you want the truth. So okay.
In that case, I'm going to go with probably let's say the most entertaining one for me.
Okay. That's
of high school movies.
Okay.
Is Better Off Dead.
Wow. I did not have that on my list at all. Tell us about Better Off Dead.
Better Off Dead. John Cusack.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a dork. Surprise, surprise. His girlfriend breaks up with him, and apparently everybody on the planet wants to date his girlfriend.
Right.
And so there's vignettes where teachers are like, "Hey, would you mind if I ask Beth out?"
Oh,
And so it's just so many.
Is this the $2?
Yes.
Okay.
Just $2.
It's a great John Cusack movie. Obviously, I mean he had quite a few movies all strung back and forth. I mean, Say Anything,
Yeah.
Better Off Dead. God, he had a few. But anyway, yes.
Yeah.
So
Just very, very fun movie.
now this movie is not set primarily in high school, right?
Yeah, they're all in high school.
I thought he went on a ski trip or something.
There's a ski team.
Oh, okay, I got you. So
Booger from the Revenge of the Nerds movies.
yeah,
Is his best friend, and
that's what a statement alone.
they're standing on a. There's a scene they're standing on this mountain, and he's Booger's character. I can't remember his name.
Right.
But he's sniffing. He's sniffing snow, and he looks at his buddy John Cusack's character, and he says, "Do you know what the street value of this mountain could be?"
Jeez.
It's just a lot of great scenes, great, highly quotable movie, and it's fun. It's just a really fun movie.
Interesting choice, John. Interesting, because I've got 10 movies that aren't going to make the list. I'm kind of like
Same
bummed.
here.
But my last one, I would be Booksmart. No, I'm not going to put that in. But we got to get the ladies represented on this list. It'd be silly not to. I've got ones that I would rather put, but I love this movie. I think it's fantastic. Lindsay Lohan was it for a while,
Girls.
and Mean Girls is my last one. A story truly about the hierarchy of the high school female groups. I mean, that's basically what the movie's about. Lindsay Lohan comes to school as a new girl and basically acclimates herself into the popular group through shenanigans and through deception and through all kinds of means, ends up basically taking over. Everything happens. Rachel McAdams, Lindsay Lohan,
Gabrielle Union.
Yep. The blonde-haired chick that's in everything now. Oh, I can't even think of her name. She's in everything. If you see a movie, you know who I'm talking about. And also had the girl from Party of Five who was just Lacey Chabert.
Oh, yeah.
Smoke show, man. Oh, my God. But this is when Lindsay Lohan was it.
Yeah.
Like, this is her peak. Also, you got great teachers in it. I believe Tina Fey's in it. Who's the
Amy
black guy?
Poehler.
Who's the black guy from SNL? Tim Robbins plays the principal. Oh, he's fantastic.
Meadows.
Tim Meadows, yeah. Tim Meadows plays the principal. He is fantastic in it. And it's a really good look. Once again, high school people could probably see it, but it's a really good look at just how we become obsessed with our social standings and what it means to our happiness. So, Mean Girls, my final one. Okay. Now we're down to your last one, John.
All right. I believe I might get a groan from David on this one.
I will see.
I'm going to go with Dead Poets Society.
Oh, it's not bad.
I really enjoyed this movie. Back to heaviness.
Here's why I would, if you said I'm going to get a groan, I feel this is a movie about high school. I don't think it's really a high school movie. I think there's a flavor to a high school movie. I think there's got to be
I'm on the
like
fence about it.
fun and like zaniness a little bit. I don't think. I mean, it's your list. You can do it.
I mean, I'm on the fence about that one for that reason.
Okay. I don't think there's a lot of levity in it. I know Robin Williams in it, but he's not really playing yuck, yuck, yuck. You know, this is like.
Yeah, he's a very serious.
Yes.
I mean, he's got like funny lines, but he's doing that in the framework of trying to teach.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll swipe that for, and you'll get a groan from this one too, but
Oh, God.
Grease.
Which one do you want to stick with?
We'll go with Grease.
Oh,
We'll go
wow.
with
That's
Grease.
I would have stuck with that one. Grease. Ugh, you know I hate Grease.
I
bro.
know you. I
Never
know.
seen it all the way through. Don't need to. Seen parts of it. This movie looks like the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I mean, John Travolta is a high school student? Okay. He looks like he's 40 years old back then.
I mean, Olivia Newton-John's older than him.
Well, that's
so-
true. I mean, so anyways, Grease. Do you really need to tell people about Grease? Go
I
ahead.
mean,
Musical.
it's a musical.
I
And so, I mean,
love.
it's got love. It's got that, that social aspect of it, where you feel like you have the need to act a certain way to maintain a certain foothold in that teenage society. And
Right.
so that has a lot to do with the movie.
Never. I will watch Casablanca. I will watch Holland's Open, whatever the movie was called. There's no way I'm ever watching Grease, unless my daughter loves it, and then I have to watch it. Then I'm not gonna be happy about it. But let's steer clear of that. So, all right, Grease.
I mean, I was a really young kid when I latched onto this movie. I liked this was probably my favorite movie when I was 5 years old.
All right, so I'm gonna
Which
list
a lot of the
yeah,
stuff went over my head, but
I'm sure. Okay, I'm gonna list some. I'm just gonna find out real quick why these. Tell me if these could have made your list or not. All right, so I'm gonna recap ours real quick. John had Breakfast Club, Perks of Being a Wallflower, Better Off Dead, and Grease. I had Fast Times at Richmond High, Dazed and Confused, Superbad, Mean Girls. Did you consider Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
it's on my
It
list.
should have been above Grease. Did you consider Election?
I did not.
Oh, it's a fantastic movie. Carrie.
To me, that's more of a horror movie.
I
than
know. Heathers.
Heathers to me is the pre-Mean Girls.
Yeah, that's a good movie. 21 Jump Street. Oh, you know that's a good movie.
I didn't even think about that one.
Dude, 21 Jump Street is if you're groaning right now, go watch it. It blew me away. 16 Candles.
I put 16 Candles and Pretty in Pink on the same line because I think it's
Okay.
basically the same movie.
Pretty much. And then I had Rock and Roll High School by the Ramones, but couldn't make the list, but I love that movie. What else do you got?
Rushmore.
Yeah.
I figure we're doing a Mount Rushmore. I can't
No,
go without mentioning Rushmore.
It's all right. It's not Wes Anderson's best movie, but anyway.
Let's see. You said Heathers. Pump Up the Volume. Probably one of my favorite
Oh,
movies of all time.
yeah.
But it's
It's a good movie. High
it doesn't
School.
have that
Yeah,
angsty
Yeah.
thing that we were talking about earlier.
Right.
Rebel Without a Cause
Oh,
and Juno.
Juno. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I think that movie gets a lot of hate. I rewatched Napoleon Dynamite with the kids the other night. That movie, it's just it's not even that funny as I remember it being. It is just revolutionary what
Yeah.
that movie was about. And you know, it's weird because we talked about this off mic, but the guy that directed it was a Mormon, and that town is like 90% Mormon. There is a reason that movie feels so different than everything else, and I think that's what it is. There is a vibe to that movie that I don't think I could have done. I'm not saying you could, but I'm like, if we both were directors, there's a different perspective I think people have that are engrossed in certain groups that's not really, like if you're 91% of a town is a certain religion, that's going to factor into your life whether you want it to or not, even if you're not in that religion. I feel there is a lot of that in the movie. It's just like that, the feel of it, because it feels like most people haven't been around, Mormon
It does
people
feel
before.
like a sheltered.
Yes. And so I think people watching go, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what this is. Like, it's a classic, man. It's got Uncle Rico is one of my favorite characters ever in a movie of all time. I think he's one of the best well-written characters. I really do, man.
That's because we know people that's
Yeah,
like
I
that.
know. I think so. But there we go. That is our Mount Rushmore, because we could have said Napoleon Dynamite too. Definitely a high school movie, 100%. But anyways, that's our Mount Rushmore. We'll see what you guys think on social media. And we have come up to the end of the show, so hopefully you guys enjoyed all of our banter this week. Thank you so much if you were in the live chat today. We appreciate you guys showing up. And just remember, you can always go to our website, which is bybpod.com. That is bybpod.com. You can go there and check out all the good stuff, which is all the past episodes. So if you want to watch any episode, it's on there. We've got articles. We have a link to the live YouTube show. We have an Amazon affiliate link. So if you want to buy stuff on Amazon, click on that. It helps us out. And just everything's on there. So we ask you to go check it out, make it your browser, and go get the podcast everywhere you want. You know, that's all to be said. bybpod.com. Tell all of your friends about the show. Share it on social media. Retweet it. I mean, it always helps out more than people know, you know. But with all that being said, John, is there anything else?
Don't blame yourself.
They got John Tortorella.
Oh, listen to that. You're getting crickets.
I'm getting crickets.
Is there anything else?
Don't blame yourself when you can blame
I love the
your
crickets.
brother.
Do the crickets ever stop? Oh, okay, they stop. What's this do?